So one of the things that I've been meaning to do with this whole streaming thing is to go back and capture some highlights of individual matches and sort of just talk through why I did what I did and where we went, and hopefully be able to point out some teachable moments in both strategic movements and also in a little bit of tactics. And so this is the first in that series, and so this is a game that I played a little bit earlier this week on my WZ-132, the tier 8 Chinese light tank on steps in a tier 9 match with no arty. So one of the best things that you can do, the first things that you should do on this map, if you're on this side, if you're on either side really, is that you want to spot how much of their team is going this way. It's something that's really easy. You just run this ridge here from either side, and then you just sort of make a loop, and then you want to use this terrain here to make it so that you don't get shot. And so that's what we're going to do. And then so I'm just cutting across here, and then I'm just going to kind of glide up this spine. And then I want to kind of see what I can see. And then we've picked up like 6 or 7 tanks. And so I actually made this cut a little bit too deep. I didn't need to go quite this far. I should probably be another 10 or 15 meters this way, because what I want to be able to do is on my exit route, I want to be able to come back around this little hill right here so that it doesn't make it easy to shoot me. I don't get shot here, but if this Lorraine came up here, he would be able to shoot me as I was exiting. So this isn't the most efficient run. I should have, like I said, probably been about another 10 or 15 meters back. But at least we have an idea of they're sending a significant number of tanks that way. And I'm completely safe now. And then so our team at this point is still a little bit far back. I want to see how aggressively these guys are going to push, so I'm going to go back. And then I'm going to do 2 loops here. This is basically a loop that cuts to the inside of the map, and this is actually somewhat informative because I don't get lit as I pass through this area, which suggests that they don't have anybody forward on this side. So the people that went east, they all went east. There's nobody probably right here, or nobody with a significant view range. And then I think I do another loop because we're still a little bit slow. And then at this point I'm kind of watching this other side, so I see that they have a few of their heavy tanks over there. We don't have a whole lot, but what we do have over there has a lot of armor, it has a lot of hit points. It seems like they've dedicated a lot of their tanks to either side, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to explore the middle a little bit. And this is mostly just basically based upon counting tanks, and I want to see what they have left in the base. And I have the option to leave if I want. This SU-152 wasn't quite facing the right way, but he was pushing forward enough to light me. So what I want to do is make sure that he thinks that I'm coming up on that side of him, and then I cut a little bit too close here and I get proxied by him again, but he's not fast enough to turn, so I'm able to get on his flank. And then this is something that I'm trying to wean myself off of, but a lot of times when you're going to track an SU-152, I always shoot for whichever track is closest to me. That's not always what you should do, because the tank is going to turn, depending on the speed at which it's going, it's going to turn towards whichever track you track. So if this guy was going fast enough, if I track this inside track here, he'll actually turn towards me, giving him an opportunity to shoot me. But if I were to shoot this outside track, then he would turn away from me. So in this particular case, it doesn't really matter because A, he's not moving too fast, he's moving backwards, and B, he's probably not gonna be able to turn enough to get a shot on me either way. And then you just want to get him down as fast as possible. And then right now their base is open, there's no arty, so there's no reason for me to go back there. And so I'm looking at both sides now, and basically it looks like these guys are going to start to get swarmed, but again, we know that these guys have the most armor and health on our team, so they can probably hold out the longest. This side is really susceptible to a flank. You can do it one of 2 ways. You can come through their base on this side. You can also just drive straight up here along this hill and just sort of pop over and be able to shoot them. And it puts them in a really difficult situation because they're essentially taking fire from multiple sides. And so I'm going to go to this backside here. And then there's this little hill right here that I go up on. I shouldn't have done that. It basically, I don't have enough depression and I have to kind of drive over it. I should have gone over here on the right, and I'll correct that after the first shot. And then basically I'll be able to get some free shots on these guys. And then as soon as this low starts to turn on me, I'm basically back behind that little hill so he doesn't have a line on me anymore. But now I have his attention, so that makes it easier for our guys on the other side. And then I'm going to try to take out that WZ, and as I'm about to, of course my gun gets taken out, which is fantastic. So I take an extra shot of damage from him, but that's fine. And then at this point we've lost this other side, but their tanks over here are also really slow, and we have this AFK guy in the base. So we'll have an idea of how soon it's going to get there. So we're going to see if we can help our team with this low. If they need help, they probably shouldn't, but and then we see that they're starting to go back to the base, but they're not really that close to it yet, so not too worried. So we're able to finish off the low, and then now it's a matter of trying to figure out exactly where their team is, right? Because they know that we've broken through on this side, and I kind of want to get an idea if these guys immediately turn back or if they're all over in that area. And so I kind of want to see how many guys are where. So I try to play this middle area a little bit just to see if there's anybody driving across. But we don't really pick up anything. And then, oh man. Sorry. Okay. And then at this point, we see them, one of their guys back in the base. These guys have managed to kill that AFK IS-3. And our guys are basically spread along this hill, which is fine for shooting, but there's nobody really spotting. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to move into a position over here. You can get up in these hills and potentially spot this guy. This low is kind of headed in the right direction, but he's not going to have a shot. You'll see that there's basically a decline over here where you can't really shoot down there that well. So it's very easy though to get up here. And then we should have shots on pretty much everything. And then we'll get a few free shots on this IS-3, which from this range with this gun is a little bit sketchy, but I think we got a couple shots in. And then, oops, I keep hitting that back button. And then the guys that we had on this side kind of pushed in on these guys and died. So this IS-3 is basically one shot for this Tiger. So I figured that he'd be fine. And then I would go this way to help out these guys. And then I don't really have a shot here, but I noticed that this Tiger has inexplicably stopped right here. So I start heading that way to see if I can help him. And that IS-3 is taking some shots at him. And then it's relatively straightforward to take out the IS-3 at that point. And then this is just mop up. Anyway, so basically, I think this is a reasonably good example of taking that spotting run on that east side, figuring out that they have tanks there, seeing tanks on the other flank, basically doing some math, figuring out what they might possibly have in the base, and then kind of probing the base, and we were able to take out that SU-152 pretty easily. And then, you know, just essentially harassing. You know, you get to shoot that T20 and the low from an opposite flank where they're not ready. Same thing with the WZ-132. And cleaning that up means that they are no longer protecting the guys that they used to be protecting, and that makes it easier for your guys on that flank to win. And then after that, it's pretty much just mopping up.